we find ourselves on the first floor of Grubbugs Clubs and Mugs. As a reminder, this is a 3-story establishment. The basement is a fight pit. The first floor is the bar and cocktail tables, and then the upstairs is kind of a parlor, so like billiards tables and crabs and poker games and stuff like that. Just kind of all happening up on the top floor, as well as kind of the private meeting rooms. And when we left off in our last session, we were following Davroid and Willard as they walked in through the door, club music kind of bouncing all around you, and you had just made eye contact with the bartender standing in between Frode the Forsaken and Armis, who are sharing a drink at the bar.
Hello.
Hey!
Excuse me, I am going to just, right by you. I'm getting behind the bar.
And Willard will kind of sneak behind the bar under people's legs and stuff and start grabbing his tea supplies that he stows back there. And he'll look up at the bartender and say,
"Are you all due for another brew?"
We've got a little bit left, but it wouldn't hurt to have a little bit more.
I'll whip you up some more, and I'll take some of my supplies with me this time. Thank you.
Sounds good. We haven't seen you in the past couple days. Where have you been?
Oh, you know me. I wander sometimes and get just a bit lost in this city. It's got more layers than Tumbleweb, I'll say.
That's strange. That's exactly what he said. The bartender turns to Frode.
Well, you know me. I always get lost in this city, but that's for a completely other reason.
Okay.
Willard will just kind of look up and shrug, and he says,
"Do you want the tea or not?"
Can I get a Long Island, Willard?
Feisty old guy today. He's man.
Yes, you can make it a Long Island. I will make it the way I make it because that's the best way.
and
Yeah, that's fair enough.
kind of will do his thing behind the bar.
Armis, roll an intellects check. Jake, roll whatever you want to roll.
All right, this is intellect, and this because Willard is intellectually convinced that he has mastered the art of peach tea. Like analytically, he is like,
There's no way.
and so with his new XP he has gained, he gets a free level of effort when he rolls with intellect.
Ooh.
When
he's
he
going
has
to
been
use
gaslit by himself, he gets a free level of effort.
and he just rolled a natural 20.
Nice.
Let's go.
It's the most useless natural 20 in this entire
you get
campaign,
a major
perhaps.
effect with it.
So, in this case, can the major effect be that this pot of tea is so good that the bartender forgets, like, is so distracted by how good it is, the bartender forgets the inconsistency in our stories?
100%.
Okay,
Yeah.
perfect. So Willard will brew it up at the stove behind the bar.
Great.
And he'll hand it off to the barkeep and say,
This one is, I can feel it. This one is special.
and he'll hand it off to him and then also get his buddies some cups as well.
Well, thank you.
Thank you. It's
Of course.
my role's irrelevant, I imagine. It's
Yeah,
just
yeah.
good. It's just good tea. I was gonna say I'm trained in seeing through deception and sharp eye. And with that, I know he's an honorable man.
Willard will serve up the tea and he'll say,
I suppose we should discuss our findings.
Yeah.
Well, that's an easy one. I think me and Armis almost sold a bomb to someone.
I don't know if we were selling. We almost traded it for lackluster information
Excuse
to a very
me?
dangerous man. But I think besides that, it went pretty well. You know.
I think I need to clarify that we should not be selling weapons or explosives to people who should not have them.
Well, that's why we decided not to.
I was gonna make. What's wrong with my voice?
Well, I agree. I don't know where you came into possession of such a destructive doohickey. I'd rather be rid of it than anything, but...
and Willard will kind of look around and kind of look back at the group.
do we want to continue this conversation, perhaps in one of the upper rooms where we met with Jasper, for example?
I mean, if you
Yeah.
insist.
Yeah, if
We
it's
can.
free.
My
we look- I
voice
look
is
to-
a little shot today, evidently, so it would probably do me better to not yell over this crowd.
You,
I think
you worked really hard putting on a different character, Frode. It was admirable. I think it was Jack. Something. It was good. Jack or
Frode
George.
bows.
Is Frode still blindfolded?
No, in the bar they
Oh, okay.
have a sign up that says no
That's
hats.
right.
Yep. I look to the barkeep and say, "Hey!" I give him a little snap at him with 3 of my spider arms. Hey, is there a room upstairs we can have?
Yes, of course. There are plenty of rooms in the parlor.
All right, thanks, bub. We're gonna take these upstairs.
You head upstairs and take one of the private rooms for yourselves. As the sound of the crowd kind of fades away in the background, it is essentially kind of like a velvety room. So it's like, big, thick carpeted floors, tapestries hung on the walls. The door is really thick glass, so it like has that really smooth slide, and then it kind of seals, and all the sound kind of disappears from, the different people who are gambling and playing games and stuff on the rest of this floor. The room itself, as the door seals, is lit by an artifact mounted to the ceiling that just kind of glows, and there's a little kind of dial with runes on the table where you can kind of change the type of glow. So you can set it to look like firelight, or you can have it be a constant light, or you can do sunlight or moonlight or whatever, depending on, because we get a variety of creatures in Gaim, and so it's trying to help you adjust to like what you're used to looking at. Otherwise, it's a fairly sparsely filled room. There's just a table in the center, some nice, well made, but they're like hotel chairs, right? Like they want them to be cleanable and whatever. So like heavily lacquered wooden chairs. And there's a little table off to one side that just has a carafe of water and some glasses and, ice and stuff like that.
Oh dear. Anyone care to go first? I mean, we had a pretty brief interaction with my contact, so it might be a little quicker if we just chit chat, if you don't mind.
Ours wasn't too long either.
All right.
We learned that there were some high-profile targets that could have been, or high-profile people that could have been targets. The 2 of which are Elaine Mollusk and someone using an alias of Storm, higher up, I guess. I don't know. We'd have to do more investigation.
With your history in the diplomatic corps, you would be very familiar with the name Elaine Mollusk. She was a technocrat. She started a company, Edison, of artificers way back in the Darkening. She's a gnome of well-renown who, after the Darkening, when magic was restored to the world, decided that she wanted to kind of improve the city-state of Tumbleweb, and so she kind of moved into the mayorship, and that's where she is now. But she is a very famous artificer who has fairly recently entered the political sphere.
Gotcha. Oh yeah, she's quite the spirited little number. She moved up
yes,
pretty quick.
yes, she is.
And Willard will kind of shake his head.
But that's kind of all we got.
You think perhaps this Stormy is a storm spirit, perhaps?
Probably a person who just didn't want to be known.
Oh, well, that's just boring.
Sometimes people are just people, Frode, that with names. I guess our time was a little bit more exciting than I thought, Frode. So, yeah, we almost traded a bomb. We chatted a little long about trading a bomb. Before that, I went to see one of my old contacts, a guy with an immaculate HAT. And he...
What?
You remember he had cigarettes, a lot of cigarettes on his head.
Oh, right.
Yeah. So he informed us. I asked him about the caltrops that we found, and he was a little cagey, and we tried to expertly get some information out of him. And the only nugget he gave me that there was a potential assassination attempt related to that caltrop, to my understanding.
We knew that.
Yeah, yep. And to get any more information from him, he wanted us to get this, and I pulled out the the plans for the whatever goofy thing it was that he wanted.
It's like a heist from some sort of dungeon delving group.
5 guys, burgers and fries, or
Five Guys Ventures and Vibes, in fact.
5 guys, ventures and vibes.
I
Four
thought
guys.
there were 4.
Guys. Yeah.
4 guys,
Yeah.
4 guys, ventures and vibes.
The parchment that he unrolls in front of you is a hand-drawn artificer's blueprint. None of you have any particular experience in the world of artificery. I think the closest might be Davroid. So if you want to go deeper than what I give you, Davroid, I'll let you try and convince me you can try. But what you can tell, what is apparent just by looking at it, is that you can see a couple different names on it. So you can link, okay, well, this is being developed by 4 Guys Ventures and Vibes in partnership with Edison, which is the artificing company that Elaine Mollusk runs. And then you can tell that the device itself, just by like the actual measurements that are written there of the overall thing, it's about the size of a briefcase. And it's called a mana vault. But you can't tell exactly what it's supposed to do or how it's supposed to work or like any of that stuff. You can't tell if any of them are in production. None of that information is immediately apparent.
Okay, so one of my skills is I know a little bit about everything. I'm trained in any task that involves identifying objects or calling to mind a minor detail or bit of trivia.
Okay.
So I could use that to ease the task.
Okay.
And then I could use some effort to recall more information.
Sure.
I rolled a 10.
Okay. So 10 would be like a level 3 task, and then we've added 2 levels of effort, so that's a level 5 success that you've achieved.
Nice.
Davroid, as you look at this, again, you're not an expert in artificery, but you have done a number of investigations of crime scenes, and so you're pretty familiar with the way architects draw and the way schematics are designed, and some of the symbols that, you know, might represent like the structures inside of a building are not that different from the infrastructure inside of an artifact. And so you're like, oh, okay, so I can see that like this thing over here is probably a power source and this thing over here is whatever. And so as you're diving into it in that way, it looks to you like this device, it interacts. There's an input and an output phase of this device regarding magic. It looks like it is used to maybe store or siphon arcane energy into it, and then something is spit out that has more longevity. It's almost like adding a shelf life to a cipher.
Okay.
And there's a little note in the margin that you find that's in like maybe an engineer's shorthand that you're like, oh yeah, I've read that on an architectural drawing before, that indicates that essentially what they're trying to do is overcome the fact that people are naturally able to only carry however many ciphers they can. So like the idea is, what if we can carry extra ciphers, or what if we could hold more of them, or whatever.
Okay. Are your guys' lives dependent on doing this task?
Are our lives?
Yeah.
Go on, Frode.
Yeah, I'm just saying. We were just like, hey, we found this job that could get us information, and all of a sudden you bring it up like, you willing to die for this?
No, opposite. I do not want to condone any thievery or law breaking, especially when we're all on essentially probation. And so unless they're coming after you if you don't do this task, I would really like to not.
Well, who said we need to steal it?
You did.
Well, that's the job we were given. Go ahead, Armis. I keep.
No, I think I was going to make the exact same point. I don't really want to get in much trouble. I don't want to give this man any more firepower. He's not the best. I worked with him a lot. So option A, we could do the heist. B, we try to pull wool over the boy's eyes and bring him try and either do like a fake delivery and see if he will buy it and give us the information. I imagine he would want to inspect the product though. So in my mind, the way I imagine getting any information out of this man is beating him up. So if anyone has any better ideas, please throw them out.
Do we need him to get more information? Can we just investigate more elsewhere?
I personally don't know where else to go, but I just know that he is a direct source that seems to know something that could help us. this is just the end of the trail that I'm aware of. We could certainly try and ask around in other skeevy parts to see if anyone else knows anything, but this is just a clear person that
I see.
has an understanding of the situation.
I know people aren't like what I'm used to dealing with when it comes to deals, but I figure it works the same. They don't like it when you try to make a deal with somebody for the same thing after you've already came to them. So if we go about that route, that's a bridge we could potentially burn. That's something we got to keep in mind.
We also can investigate the crime scene more.
Are there any trails left? I mean, we saw someone just jumped up in the trees, you know? They flew away. We could potentially go, you know, I got a kind of a sense of where they headed off to. I think in some little gulch outside of the city, but it still might be hard to track them down on our own.
I think with the potential flying or jumping or whatever cursed thing they're using to get away, it'd be difficult to track, especially at this point. I agree with Davroid that we shouldn't. I don't think we should be delving too deep into stealing or thievery or anything like that.
No, I don't think it would behoove us.
But I haven't dealt with the organization. Maybe they'll just sell it to us.
I guess that could be true, but do we have much funds to trade?
Well, you don't always need to trade in currency.
Do we take
I also
another
don't
job?
know how public this information is. Like, do people know that this exists? Like, if we just walked up and asked if they had it for sale, like, is that secret knowledge?
It seems pretty under wraps. This seems like higher up kind of advancement. I don't know if any Joe Schmo would know about a more advanced artificery that it captures magical energy, you know?
Yes, I'd do my best not to think about these things, but it does appear to be much more complicated than the things I see every day.
I've got a great idea.
Oh, no.
Now, we're all about trading information. That's what we're looking for. We want information. But has it come to us? Have we come to the conclusion that perhaps the people we want to trade with also want information? What if we simply come up to them and express the fact that we have information about this device? And if it is secretive on their part, I'm sure they're curious about where this information came from. And in return, they sound like they've got some resources. Perhaps they might be able to help us investigate.
Are you suggesting we extort or blackmail them?
No. I suggest a trade. I say that we've covered across some information that might be very pertinent to them, as I'm sure they would want to know who knows about something if they consider it secret, and all we ask in return is if they know anything pertaining to what we want to know. Either way, we could trade it in a will of good faith. A faith, goodwill. You know what I'm trying to say.
I do. I just don't know if it'll work.
I'm not sure that a dungeon delving company would have the information that we need. That doesn't seem within their purview.
I heard they got all sorts of stuff back in the day. I heard they made dragons beckon upon their call, and that they made little holes in the ground and things came out of them, and they did some really crazy stuff.
I heard that
I don't remember how much of that.
criminals, so I'm not sure exactly
I'm
Well,
sure
that's my
most of
what
point.
to
it,
believe.
I'm sure
If they-
most of it's just exaggeration
If
from
they started as
decades
criminals,
of stories.
perhaps they still have a criminal attaché.
Armis mentioned good old-fashioned intimidation, and I must say I'm in favor of that.
I
But-
like where this guy's going. It maybe call me a little barbaric, but holy moly, I don't mind kicking the heck out of this little mole boy. No offense. To
Oh,
you,
it's
of course.
okay. I'll kick the heck out of him too.
I think we could talk to Jasper too.
Do we think it would be wise to talk to Jasper Sooner than when we decide to intimidate and threaten the crime
I think so.
boss.
I'd rather not stir a pot.
But it's also, they say it's easier to ask for forgiveness than it is to ask for permission. You know what I mean?
This is true.
I wouldn't say we asked Jasper for permission, but maybe he has information or access to records that otherwise wouldn't be known to us.
We're just going to have to walk all the way back to the thing and all the way back to town.
Do you
Yes.
think? I think he may slow us down.
I might be able to send a message.
That's fun. How do you do that?
Well, I have my ways.
We're gonna need a little bit more than that this time, Frode.
Well,
One does not simply talk to a gemstone guardian.
no, I have my little contacts around the city, and they get paid in fish and other goods, and sometimes the messages I want end up where they want to be. Not all the times. It doesn't always work.
Frode,
What?
you need to tell me what you want to do. If you want to send, it sounds like you're gonna send a cat off or something to go
Sounds
try
like
to talk.
he's putting secret messages in fish and hoping the fish ends up at the right spot.
No,
Is this-
no. Armis had it right. I give a fish to a little cat, and then I
There was a
tie
cat.
I tie a little note to it, and sometimes it ends up where I want to. I can't give you a success rate because sometimes people don't respond, and I don't know how many of them were not responding because they were like, cool, that's a great message, but I don't need to respond. I got the information, or if they never got the message.
I can't believe that it has above a 5% success
People
rate.
have responded to me this way at least
The right-
once.
Out of how many messages?
Homing cats are like homing pigeons, except that they have like opinions and stuff, so you can't always rely on them to like deliver the message because sometimes they're busy doing their own thing. As you're discussing this outside of the Grubbugs Clubs and Mugs, you hear a huge explosion. And you hear running footsteps, people downstairs beginning to like a little bit of commotion, people yelling and things. Somebody going, "It's right outside. What is?" And the room kind of clearing out. What will you do in that moment?
We should go investigate that. And Davroid will leave the room promptly and hurriedly down the stairs to see what happened.
All right. It sounds like it's a job for us.
Puts the blindfold back on. Listeners, Cleo is literally putting another blindfold over her face.
Thank you. There's not a window in here that we can look at, right? This is a sealed off
No,
room.
it's like a sealed room.
Private room.
There's a window
Okay.
in the door, but it just looks out at the gaming room.
All right, gosh dang it. All right, I guess it's time to move. Let's go take a peek.
Yep.
Duty calls, it seems.
You run downstairs and rush out the door, and you can see that outside there are these huge chunks of stone that have torn. You're on the 5th tier of Gaim. The 4th tier of Gaim, one of the bridges has completely torn apart, and all the bridges, or all the like blocks of stone from it, have been thrust into the air. So there's essentially this huge volumetric like space that is just full of kind of floating debris. There are, civilians just hanging off the sides of them and stuff like that. It's all kind of swirling and not fast enough like a tornado would, but just like kind of slowly, like a lava lamp almost, where it's just like all kind of slowly moving and floating around. You notice that there are some people who are still on the ground, like at the edge of the bridge, and have not been flung up into the air, but it's like now they're hanging on. So it's almost like it's like zero gravity, not like negative gravity. If they push off, then they're going to move in a weird direction. And even as you're standing there looking at it, and you see, there's like watermelons flying by and like food carts and stuff like that, just kind of like floating around and moving up towards you. They never reach past the 5th tier, so it's like contained in this 100-foot high expanse. Not that, people down there are having a great time, but then as you watch, you see 3 shapes whoosh past you, falling vertically as 3 of the Ruby Wardens are essentially like skydiving straight down into the midst of the rubble. And in like a coordinated V formation, the 3 of them tuck their hands, flip around, and their feet come out in front of them, and they begin kicking into the debris and jumping in such a way where the momentum reforms the bridge up at the top. Like it's still suspended, but it's up in the air. And then 2 more of them string a rope across the expanse there, hung from the 5th tier where you are. There's just this rope that's hanging there so that people can grab on, and in the zero gravity they can be kind of pulled. They just pull the end of the rope, which doesn't have any weight, until they can get them close to safety. And then there are other Ruby Wardens who are helping them up. And then as the civilians are cleared, there's obviously still a bunch of stuff. And so you can see on the lower tiers, people are kind of getting out of the way so they're not underneath it, because if they turn off this anti-gravity, everything's going to come tumbling down. You see Earl Coldfoot, the Ruby Guardian, steps out onto the bridge, and even the way he walks is cocky. And he kind of steps out there. He takes a spear off his back and kind of plants it on the ground and uses it to hold himself in place. And he leaps out, still holding onto the spear, so that he's in that extended martial arts sidekick thing, where his hand is on the spear and then he's kicking outwards. And he kicks the end of the bridge downwards so that it kind of slams back down into place. It's not attached, it's not affixed properly, but it's now the bridge is sort of anchored where it needs to be, so it looks like a lever. And then he leaps and kind of free falls up across the bridge to the other end, grabs hold of it and swings his feet down and begins pulling it down to the other side, so the whole bridge settles with and there's applause and cheering. And then 3 more of the 3 wardens who got the civilians out now jump down to the bridge, and they're scouring looking for the cipher. You don't see the cipher itself or the excess knot of magic, but you do see when they switch it off, and everything kind of returns to normal, because all the food and the debris and the random stuff just plummets through the rest of Gaim. And then there's just huge applause. And the Ruby Wardens are all standing there. They kind of form up around Earl Coldfoot, and he looks right up at Armis, winks, and then they walk off the bridge in the other direction. And you're all standing there looking at, when you finished your disaster recovery, there was smoldering ruin and screaming, and now there's applause for all of them as they've finished their experience here.
People are screaming? I can't tell. How many people are dead?
It got taken care of. That's all you need to know. And Armis goes and pops a cigarette and goes and chugs the rest of his Long Island and just storms off to the side of the bar.
And you know what that means? It means it's story time at the Winged Badger Tavern, and we'll be right back.
Hell is this?
The world of Urda has regressed, Jasper. Whatever else happened 100 years ago, magic is wild now, and that's dangerous for everyone. If I send soldiers or even the Guardians, the world of Urda will see a conquest no matter what I say. But we can't control a mercenary company.
Okay, what are you proposing?
Am I supposed to look at the camera, look away? I don't understand these things.
If you're doing something wrong, I'm gonna find you.
And then he just pretends to fall over and goes, "Ow, I have been injured."
You hear him say "king me" as he throws down a full house on the table. He looks pretty feeble, but one time someone saw a kid try and mess with him and he slapped him really hard with the cane.
So they're supposed to be what? Some kind of arcane janitorial squad? Who's gonna lead a team like this? No, don't look at me!
She said she's sick and tired of love, she just want more. I know they didn't think that we would make it this far. I know they didn't think that we would take it this far.
Welcome back to the Winged Badger Tavern, where friends tell stories. I'm joined by some of my friends. Let's meet them. Introduce yourselves.
I know that they wouldn't think we would make it this far. That is the end quote of that song, and I believe it is apt to this group. I am Jake, and I play Willard Taffy, the exiled mole folk. I almost said gun wizard, but that's not true. Speaker who throws with deadly accuracy.
Hello, I'm Mike, and I play Armis Thrupp, a sharp-eyed spider speaker who works in the back alleys.
Hello, I am Trevor. I play Davroid Grappleheart, the Tier 2 Dwarven speaker who separates mind from body. Ooh.
And hello, I am also glad that we have made it this far as Frode the Forsaken, a tongue-tied Hematitian explorer who fucked around and found out. And also, my name is Cleo. I am Cleo. Frode is my character. I didn't say that part, but now I did.
And I'm Josh. I play everybody else. So without further ado, let's get back into tonight's adventure at the Winged Badger Tavern. As Armis Thrupp storms off to get another drink at the bar, the other three of you are left standing there on the kind of precipice, overlooking down to the fourth tier where everything's kind of been resolved and applause and what have you.
To be honest, I'm kind of glad we didn't have to deal with that one.
So there's not a problem?
Not anymore. The Ruby Wardens took care of it.
Armis storms back. Oh, there's a problem. There's a smug son of a bitch who's going around, coming on with all this flashy stuff, jumping into action way too fast with all his gear, and he winked at me. Did anyone else see that? Like, how far away is he? He's up there. How does he know where I am enough to wink at me? And I got like 3 cigarettes in my hands and just bouncing between.
I did catch that. It is surprising that he picked you out during the midst of all of that, but
somebody winked at you?
He said, "You truly, Frode, it was not worth a watch. I think it was he's a show off. He's not worth. It's whatever. I'm not mad."
Some deputies are just itching to become the sheriff.
That's right. Thank you, Willard.
Anyway,
we all know Jasper would have done it better.
He always does.
Should I go back inside, or
we never decided what to do next?
Let's pop back inside real quick so that at least that Frode can take the blindfold off for a quick sec.
You head back in, the voices of the crowd tentatively picking back up. Although now everyone's like, "Did you see that? They're so cool. Earl Coldfoot. Oh my gosh, I can't believe how great the Ruby Guardians are. Oh my goodness." It's just like conversation like that all around the bar.
Grow up.
As Frode comes in, he yells into the room, "Frode in the house! Be warned!"
Nobody says anything or acknowledges you.
And then I take off the blindfold. Oh, there we go. So what happened? I heard it sounded very familiar to a training exercise we did.
Yeah,
they did just as well as us. Exactly the same.
Oh, really? Oh, wow. We must have done really good. I thought we did terrible that training exercise.
We did great. I think next we should make Jasper proud and go intimidate a crime boss to get information that we can give to Jasper. And say, "Look how independent we are."
I'll be honest. I know it might be a little ego driven, but especially after that, I really want to do that. We should probably meet up with Jasper, but I'm pretty pissed to say the least, and I need to take it out on Frankie. Quite frankly.
Let's keep that energy.
I'm gonna step out back. I just gotta talk to someone real quick. It'll be real short. And Frode goes out the back door.
Blindfolded or not blindfolded?
Not blindfolded.
Okay.
This guy's gonna go talk to a
person
cat.
are you headed off to interact with, or is
He's
it a
gonna
cat?
find it is a cat.
Okay.
Oh no.
Cool.
He's gonna find a cat. And he's taken a napkin off of the bar table, the bar counter, and he just takes a piece of a little bit of charcoal and he just writes onto the napkin. He's just like, "Dear Jasper, investigating leads might intimidate a folk or two." And then I'm gonna wrap it up and I'm gonna go, "Here, kitty, kitty." And I look at the bar trash and I pull out somebody's fish dinner. And I'm like, here, kitty.
The cat kind of looks interested, but I mean, it's like a streetwise cat. It's, it's going to take more than just here, kitty, to convince it to come and cooperate with you. But it hasn't run off.
Go. We've got your little snack here, and I've got a little message, and as always, I can give you little pets, and this little food here as our deal, as we always do. And he's gonna roll a intelligence check to persuade this cat.
Great. This cat is a level 2 creature, so the difficulty is 6.
I could say that Frode has done this a couple of times before, given his backstory.
Mm-hmm.
Can I use that as a level of easing?
How about
Since
this?
this is not something new.
Jake, roll a d20. Mike, call evens or odds.
Odds.
Okay.
It was even.
Okay. This is not one of the cats you've interacted with
Okay,
before.
that's fair. All right. All right. I see your new face here. So let's see if you're okay to this deal. I rolled a 17.
The cat comes over and nuzzles up against your hand, takes some pets, gobbles up the fish dinner, and then takes the message.
Here you go. Now, you gotta go find Jasper, and he's gonna act like, except he's gonna be all shiny. So he points up at the a polished part of the trash lid. He's like, kind of like this, but all over here. You'll find him. And he just gives the cat the message and goes back inside.
As you turn to go back inside, the cat scampers off into the distance, and you kind of watch its tail flit around the corner, as it heads off. You think you catch a glimpse of other movement in the shadow there just for a second. Just a little something moving. It seems like maybe it's the right height to be either a crouching humanoid or a molefolk-sized creature or something like that. Maybe a little cloak swishing. As in, there's no hat, so it's not like it sets you off. But maybe a cloak swishing or a shadow moving very briefly. Just a quick, sharp, sudden something.
Hello? I could make deals with you. I wasn't expecting it, but if you come on back. Oh, I guess not. Well, Frode just goes back inside.
Frode steps back inside where the rest of you are still sitting at the bar? Question mark?
Tell me where must we go to surround this little mole folk? I mean, little. I assume he's shorter than me.
Listen, he's in a warehouse. As far as we can go over there wherever the heck it was that we last found him. He was standing by in the back out by a fire pit, and then he went inside. But I still kind of want to communicate with Jasper a little bit. Do you mind if I'm going to step outside for just a second. I'll be right back.
I already handled that, by the way.
Yeah, I'm sure. I just want to cover our bases. Is that all right?
Oh, that's fair enough.
Yeah, all right. I'm going to go out the
front or the back?
I'm going to go out the front.
Okay, you go out the front.
Does nobody want to fly off the handle half-cocked and just fight this guy? I don't understand.
No.
That's what I would like to do.
I could be convinced.
We're almost there. We're almost there, Willard. And Armis is going to go outside. He's going to look around. And he's hung her out in this area for a bit, and he's familiar with the kind of low lives. And I have to pitch this to you. I should have done this earlier. But I want to go. So in my tier up, one of the things I can do is get a basic follower. So I want to go and find some dude that every now and again that I would drink with, and he may just be hanging outside the bar. I know we're not supposed to bring other people in on this mission, but but I want to get a guy and tell him to go over to Jasper and tell him what we're doing.
Okay. So is this like a street urchin, basically? Like a
Yeah, like an Aladdin kind of type. Just a street urchin with a heart of gold that he's not going to betray us. He's still a risk of being caught. But he's not going to like talk to anybody other than the people I tell him to.
I mean, yes, you can certainly tell this street urchin guy. What's his name?
Matt.
You could certainly tell Matt, Matt, the name of every improv group member. You can tell Matt to take this message to Jasper. Is it just like, here's what we're doing? Like, you're not holding anything back?
I'm just gonna, yeah, pretty much. So you can let him know. I'll say, okay, Matt, Matty.
Oh,
Matty,
Armis.
Hey, buddy.
Hey, you still got to teach me the fencing with the cane, remember?
Yeah. Oh my gosh, absolutely. Look,
I won that dice game. You were going to give me lessons, remember?
You did. You were close to it. Yes, you won. Okay, that's fine. Yes, I'm going to do that.
Yeah.
Can I ask you to do one thing before you do that? As soon as you get back, I'll do that with you. I promise. Okay?
Okay.
I know I've been gone a little bit.
What do you need?
I need you to, you know that guy that was like really tight with me, Jasper, from the Knights.
Chasm Jasper, like the
Chasm
Guardian?
Jasper.
Doesn't he
Yeah.
hate you?
It's up in the air. It's a hot and cold relationship, but I think ultimately he's got a deep love for me in his heart.
Okay, man. Whatever you say. Yeah, I know the guy. What do you need?
Yeah. I need you to go to. We've been hanging out in this little shack up on a hill outside the city, and I need you to go tell him that me and the guys are gonna go talk to my friend Frankie, and we're gonna get some necessary information, and and we're gonna do that, and then we're gonna come right back. And if he seems what's up?
So you need me to go like up into the mountains? Because I have an improv practice this evening.
Yeah. If you skip it, I'll give you like 3 lessons. Is that okay?
You already owe me the lessons.
Yeah, I owe you 1 lesson from what we just said.
Oh, so you're saying you'll give me more lessons?
I'll give you more lessons for free of charge. You know me.
It seems worth it. Yeah, all right.
That's
all right. Well, then I need you to take a message to the guys. If you can just tell Ricky, John, and other Matt that I'm not going to be able to make it, that would be really great if you could do that for me. Do you think you could do that?
I could definitely do that. What time's the rehearsal?
Thanks. They're at the Old Vine Theater. It's just on the next pendant. Rehearsal's in like 30 minutes. I was just finishing up my drink, then I was going to head over there.
Yeah, okay.
Okay, great.
How far of a walk is that?
It's just across this bridge here. It shouldn't take you, 10 minutes.
Okay. Yeah, I could definitely run over there real quick.
Yeah, appreciate that.
If you just run out. And he might, so he's probably not going to be super stoked to see you. But like tell him Armis sent you. Here, shoot, what do I have? I pat myself down.
Can you give me any more specific directions than cabin in the mountains?
I tell him where it is.
Okay. That great. Yeah, I could totally get there. So just follow the path past there. Okay, yeah, I can do that.
It's definitely, and I need, and just try and keep a low profile. You're just walking. You're just heading out. You're going.
Am I gonna be like in danger walking up this hill? Because I'd feel a lot better knowing how to cane sword fence before I go walking into danger.
You think you could just absorb cane sword fencing safe enough to get up a hill right now? Come on, you've been surviving out here long enough.
Well, I think with a good lesson, I might feel a little better about it.
Can I give him like a quick 10-minute demonstration? Just 1 second. I pop back in. It's like, hey guys, we're gonna head out in just a second. I got, give me like 20 minutes. I gotta
At this point, Willard has started like throwing knives at a bare spot in the wall in the shape of a little mole folk, like as if he's outlined like the border.
Okay, I guess I'll get another drink then.
Look, hold on. Actually, if you guys want to get a head start, like I know where it is. I'll be there soon. Get real quick, Josh. Would it be faster for me to just go? It's pretty far outside the city, right? It's a big hike. It's more than 20 minutes to get. Okay, yeah, it is. Okay, good. So make sure I couldn't just get there and come back.
You are technically saving time. Yes.
Okay, good. Yeah, I was like, okay, guys, if you want to go on ahead, you can do that. I need to do some stuff. Okay, just really quick, but I'll meet up with you. Okay.
Okay. We'll start going.
All right, Frode, you know what to do.
Yeah. But you know me. I never get lost in this city.
I can always count on
As
you.
he puts on a blindfold.
All right, everybody, follow me.
Everybody take an XP for what an incredible scene that turned out to be.
Yay! So yeah, do I need to roll to see if I impart immense fencing?
No, I want you to
wisdom
spend the
in
next 10 minutes teaching me how to cane sword fence. I'm just kidding.
Okay.
Roll. You are going to need to roll.
Okay.
And whatever you roll is going to be the level of skill with the cane sword that you temporarily impart. He's not going to retain it forever. It's his first lesson, but like at least for this journey.
Can I give it like a little bit of effort?
Yeah.
All right.
What skill are you using?
Sweet. Intellect, because I'm teaching.
Yeah, that's fair.
Can I do two effort? I am
certainly can.
This guy's gonna be safe as hell.
Is it a nat 1?
It's a 3.
It's a 3. So
He's
you
gonna
give
be
him.
safe as hell.
He's a level 3. He's a level 2 follower with a level 3 skill. In cane sword fencing.
I'm a little tipsy. I'll be honest. I've had a few Long Islands, so this is not. It's not quite like the primo stuff, but like this should get you the basics.
Yeah, it's the trial.
Cut my finger pulling it out of the.
Yeah, man, this is really cool. I bet I can use some of this for like stage fighting with my improv group, man.
I wouldn't do that. You need to talk to your director about that for sure.
I don't know, man. Ricky's pretty flexible. Ricky John and other
look,
Matt are usually down to like try.
I'm
whatever.
sure they're flexible. I've seen too many people get hurt on stage, Matt. You know, it's just not worth it. You really have to practice it with them.
Okay, well then maybe don't bring it up yet. You know, when you go tell them that I'm leaving.
No.
Okay.
No.
Cool.
If you really want to do it, I'll do like a class with everybody.
Sure.
So
that'd be cool.
I'd rather you guys not hurt each other.
That makes sense. Yeah. Okay. And
why are you using swords for improv? It's not important.
And then the two of you leave talking about object work or whatever. You like part to go your separate ways, but you do that awkward thing where you walk away in the same direction. He passes by the building where you go to tell Ricky John and other Matt that he can't make it to improv practice on his way out of town. Meanwhile, the other three of you are headed out. Frode nominally took the lead, but how are we actually doing this journey? How are you going to track down Frankie?
Would I have, or Davroid have directly interacted with Frankie before?
No, certainly not.
Okay.
Frankie's super careful, but everybody knows who he is. But he's still like, you know, he's a guy who, you know, he always meets in different places, and he has a little trusted crew of guys who like, you know, handle the drop off places and stuff like that for him. So it's like it's a clean operation that he runs, where he's like, you know, I'm not getting my hands dirty. I'm just the middleman. I don't have any, you know, guilt related to this.
Okay.
I'm merely connecting buyers with products, that kind of thing.
Was the warehouse Armis told us to go to somewhere I'm familiar with?
Yeah, there's an alley behind a warehouse that has like a trash can where people often will like start fires and kind of hang out there. Like lower class people might do that, you know, underworld people.
So, Willard, if I'm to understand, you and Frode wish to beat this guy up, essentially.
Well, maybe intimidate is the more proper term.
Well, you might want to say we're gonna broker with him as we intended as we came up here.
And how did your brokering go the first time?
Well, let me tell you. And Frode leans down and It whispers in Davroid's ear, very... he has to, like, get down, almost really scrouched out. He's like, all right, you really should be careful what you say, because, you know, I was followed when I went to go write my message to the cats, and who knows if we're being followed right now, so maybe don't out loud say we're about to go hunt down at this very famous crypto man.
All right. I just want to get a clear picture of what you guys intend to do while I
don't have any intentions. I'm just gonna do whatever you all want me to.
First, let's, that's a bit concerning.
And Willard will look around and see if he can scan the area for any movement or if it feels like anyone's following them.
Go ahead.
He has... How bright is it on this tier that we're currently at?
It is somewhere between torchlight and daylight. So like average brightness, not bright enough to harm your eyesight.
Okay, great. That is good. He has trained in hunting, and I would like to think that when he's hunting, he's also trying to spot small bits of movement in areas where wildlife might be hiding. So I would like to think that could maybe aid him in this search. So I'm going to roll, if I can, I will roll intellect.
Yeah.
To do a little look-see. He rolled a 10, and he got a free effort as well as trained in hunting.
Great. So that's essentially the equivalent of a 16, which would be a success on a level 5 task. This was a difficulty 5 sort of spot check, shall we say. You look around. Nobody is tailing you or following you. You've been walking away from, Grubbook Clubs and Mugs for a couple minutes. Armis went off the other direction. You don't quite see him. He's probably on his way back across the bridge right now. You do notice sitting on the roof of Grubbugs Clubs and Mugs, there is a hooded figure with what seems to be a quill and notepad in hand, who is scrawling something on a piece of paper. And as you watch, they kind of finish whatever they're writing, flip the top of the notepad on top of it, and you see the faintest little glow, and they jump into the air and then disappear from view.
Well, I've spotted our jumper. They were taking notes. They jumped and they used some sort of thingy to disappear.
Wait, quick, are there any hats around?
I scan the area for hats really quick.
It's late evening and you're near a club. There are definitely some hats on the way to the club.
There are hats around.
But he's roof level, right?
He's gone. He disappeared.
I don't care. Frode is going to look up and keep his hands like this.
That's going to be...
shielding the lower part of his vision.
That's going to be a difficulty 3 task to avoid seeing any hats.
I'm thinking speed task in order to quickly move the blindfold and cover my eye level, the street level from eyesight.
Okay.
And I will take a level of effort. We all know what happens if I fail.
Frode just leaps off on a tear. We need to be very covert about this. Rushes off.
Ooh, I don't think I passed. I rolled a 4.
On the die, or including your effort?
On my die.
Okay, so that's +1. So that's a 7, which succeeds only on a level 2 task. So,
Yes.
Frode, you immediately catch sight of a hat.
No.
No.
All right.
Thunk!
In that brief moment,
Thunk.
in that brief moment, before I rage, can I at least have a chance to perceive?
Sure.
All right. Now, I do have the ability to see the unseen.
Okay.
I can see through invisibility.
Okay.
I also specialized in perception, not trained.
Okay. So that's 2. That's 2 levels of effort it will ease.
I feel like intellect does match best for this. And I will take a level of effort for intellect.
So you've taken it from a level 5 task to a level 1 task, difficulty or target roll of 3.
All right.
It's a 1.
It's not a 1.
It's a 2.
It's a 2.
It's a 2.
Well, I tried.
You do not see anything to do with the person up top because someone with a really swanky top hat is in front of you walking towards Grubbugs, Clubs, and Mugs. Armis, you round a corner and see your friends just in time to see Frode pull the blindfold down and like lock vision with this top hat.
Josh,
Yeah?
can I see the instant Frode begins to rage and cast a spell?
Sure.
I would like to erase like the last 3 seconds of Frode's memory.
Okay. So we're going to set your difficulty here at 5 because that's the level of the crowd. And if you succeed on this save,
level
then
of the
Frode
crowd?
not only forgets about it, but will have time to get the blindfold back on before he notices.
Could I ease it by 1 since I've done this before?
You could do it with effort.
Okay, I would like to use effort.
Okay.
Here we go, guys. Ooh. 15.
15.
Oh, okay.
That's
You do it.
exactly what you needed.
Yeah, nice. 15. In fact, that's a success. That's 1 level over what he needed because he turned it into a difficulty 4. So
there you
good
go.
job. Frode, you just have this weird, like, everything's a little weird. Armis, you see Frode begin to rage, and then it's like somebody hit the reset button on the back of his neck where he like his eyes glaze over and he looks a little confused and puts the blindfold back on.
You see
Sorry,
Willard in between that try to jump up with his little hands trying to block the eyes. Like
He comes up to like Frode's waist.
Wait, no.
My mind just went a little fuzzy. Did you say there were hats or not?
There are hats.
There are hats. Keep it behind. Don't
God,
look.
I was gonna try to look.
It's no use.
I can see things that people can't.
It's gone.
It's okay.
I made a mental note. Davroid, do you have your notepad?
I do. Always.
Seemed medium build.
I will
hooded,
begin taking notes.
Dark hooded, cloaked, had a notepad similar to yours, and jumped and seemed to have moved and disappeared at the same time. I don't know.
Armis, were those your footsteps?
Yeah, it's me. Sorry, I had to go off for a little bit. I found a friend for the cat, and just don't go near the improv theater around here. They don't know what they're doing, but.
Okay.
So I was thinking that just Willard and I go up because he doesn't know us, and since he already made a demand of you guys, maybe we could try our hand at getting information without the same demand.
Oh, all right. Well,
That was my thought.
what should we do?
I think you could be backup. For example, if the negotiations go south, we could begin to start threatening, and you could show up as well and reinforce the threat.
Well, I ain't exactly inconspicuous. Now, how do you suggest I get close enough to him without arousing the suspicion?
I have an idea. We could approach, and I could say that I work for whoever it was that employed this assassin. And if I could convince him that I work for them, and I intimidate him and say, "What did you tell Armis Thrupp?" Maybe he could tell me what he told you, and perhaps a bit more.
I think if you don't know the organization's name, you won't get very far.
I could say those people who tried to assassinate that person. Perhaps that could do it.
I mean, why don't you just... I don't know why you go through all this. Maybe he'll just give you a different deal if you ask for the same information.
Ideally, I would infiltrate the organization, spend weeks just low-level investigation, just like working my way up, and eventually I'll get there. But we don't have that kind of time.
Have you done that before in this city?
No.
Here's what I'm thinking. Either we have 2 strangers go up, and your potential buyers, you just want to work with them, you want to do something, or me and Frode go back, say that we're reconsidering, And I don't really know exactly where the conversation goes in from there, but maybe we just surround the place and get ready to beat up some goons. I just don't know how prepared we want to be to fight. I don't know what our end goal here is, because I've got a feeling he's not just going to spill. So it's either we take out his stuff or we somehow get him to talk, which I tried and he did not do that with
I've got a bomb.
we could always do the element of surprise and throw a bomb, bust
Absolutely
in,
not.
shock and awe, and just take out as many as we can and try. I can grab Frankie, hold him there, and then like he's collateral.
Ooh,
I
we can
cannot
be
condone
like,
this.
I've got a deal for you. You take an explosion to the face. I take information from your corpse.
I do not like this.
I don't like that version of that, and although I'm not really a fan of whatever magic may cause this explosion, I must say I am attracted to the concept.
I'm really confused by it. First, you're upset because this seems like a bad person, and I figure, well, if he's bad, that must mean it's okay to hurt. At first, I thought he was just a reasonable businessman, so I thought he wouldn't hurt people, which is why I offered him the bomb, because I figured he'd use it in his...
Armis,
Yeah.
does Frankie hang out casually anywhere with a group of buddies?
Ooh, very good question.
Willard, roll a d20.
Got a 9.
A 9. Willard, as the group is talking and you've been kind of keeping an eye out looking for any danger and whatnot, you notice a slight kind of warping or distortion in the ground at your feet. It's maybe it like the size of your fist, just like a tiny little, it's almost like heat waves coming off of sand, except obviously it's not hot enough at night in a cave in a mountain to be that hot. And looking at the edge of the like flagstone or whatever that's resting there, you see like a little bit of a green glow kind of peeking out from underneath it.
Oh, I don't like this. I think there's some sort of magical thing that's right here at my feet. You see that?
No.
Well, you don't. That's true.
I do see that.
What, at least it's not hurting us right now. What do we want to do with that?
Can I roll I get not Arcana, but like intellect to discern?
Intellect difficulty 4.
I am trained in intellect.
Great, so difficulty 3. Also, Mike, roll a d6.
4.
Okay.
I got a 17 on the die.
A 17 on the die, easy peasy. You're a guy who knows a little bit about a lot, right? You've seen a lot in your investigative days. And one of the things you've seen when you were infiltrating this ring of artificers who were trying to basically perfect the bank heist. And one of the things they were working on, they were calling it warp tunneling. And essentially what it would do is it would kind of collapse the space between 2 points so that you could go in at one end and come out the other end, almost like a portal. And this cipher does a similar thing. It is a cipher of quantum tunneling. It is a level... What level did you roll, Mike?
4.
Level 4 cipher of quantum tunneling. So that's immediate, short, far. That's a very far distance that it can do. So this is a quantum tunneling cipher that will allow you to travel up to 500 feet, essentially.
Wow,
so
I'm
like a
taking
football
that.
field and a half. We'll just call it 2 football fields because Americans aren't going to remember how many feet it was, but they'll remember football fields. So like 2 football fields of distance. And
I am taking it.
great. If you have 4, you'll have to drop 1.
I do not.
Okay. And roll a D100.
Willard will quickly move his feet
24.
out of the way
Great.
to make room for someone else to grab the cipher.
Yeah, so Davroid, you kind of like pry the flagstone off the ground, and the cipher, the little knot of magic is right there, and you kind of reach in and kind of absorb it, and you can add that to your cipher inventory.
Was that dangerous? Do we need to... Is that what, like... Is it about to blow up the bridge?
No, we're good. It's fine.
Oh. Everything's fine today. Okay.
Armis, I think it'll be better if we can get him in a more casual setting.
Oh, that's right. You asked me that question. Would I know of anywhere that he goes? We were not like super tight.
Yeah, what's one of his vices? You probably know one of his vices.
He's got a hat full of cigarettes.
Oh, yeah, so he's a big smoker. So what do I associate with smoking? I associate horse races. So he's a guy who loves to watch the races, which down here they're not horses. They're gonna race a subterranean creature. What should they race? They'll race rote. The rote races. He'll bet on the rote races. So like these big oxen-like creatures that the dwarves love to race. And he's, especially as an underworld member of the lower tiers, where it's like richer and more esteemed, that's definitely one of the right places where like his buyers can incognito show up and communicate with him. So that might be where he receives jobs.
We could try and talk to him at the races. It's a public venue, so if things go south, it could get pretty chaotic. But he might be more inclined to be calm in that situation as well to do that. I don't know.
I'd like to try and endear myself to him in some way.
Willard will kind of go, like, kind of his little feet will pad up to Davroid and look up at him and kind of give him like a serious look. He's kind of been joking around for some of this.
Yeah.
But he kind of looks up. He's like,
Will you be able to maintain cover?
Absolutely.
And what can I do to help with that? Who should I be?
I was thinking we go as gamblers ourselves, and either we have a friendly wager with him, or Frode and Armis put him in a compromising situation that we save him from.
Interesting.
Cool. That's fun.
I
Those
like
are
that.
those are the two angles I would approach with.
I like the second one.
I also like the second one. I think that would be, because I still really want to punch him in the nose. I can't get over those guardians earlier today.
Like if we can arrange for us to just be there in the crowd, and then you guys start harassing him, and then we protect him, save him, do something that would maybe owe us, or...
So, all right, how about this? Me and Armis, since we've already talked to him, us showing up in a place where he feels a bit more comfortable might make him uncomfortable. So just us being present, looking for him, might be enough. Then you can step in between and distract us, and then one or the other whisks him away as a favor.
I think, Davroid, you should do the whisking away. You seem much more like you have a plan for this conversation. I just would like to see Armis get a few punches in. That seems like a great thing to see.
All right.
It's a plan.
And we transition to this. We simply must move the story. We transition to the next scene where you enter the horse races. The horse races in Gaim, or the rote races, are not like what you would imagine, like the Royal Derby being like in England, in that they're not open air. It's on the second tier, dug into the side of the cavern. So you leave the main bridges and pendants and stuff, and where the residential areas are on the upper tiers, down here it's too expensive for that much residential. And so there are a few different kind of leisure activities that have been dug out into the sides. There's a huge swimming pool in one of them, and whatever. And one of them is the rote races, this massive track. It's a big sort of generically ellipses shaped, or ellipsis shape, but then it has stands. The grandstands around the outside of it are all hewn from rock, so it's very kind of dignified, like refined stonework and elaborate ornamentation. Different murals and things have been carved into the stone and then filled with molten gems so that they kind of glow and reflect in the different colored lights. And the rote, when they let them out, like, because the track is straight up stone, they don't necessarily need to like worry about speed or anything. They put a boulder in the way, and the first rote to smash through it is how you know that the line has ended.
Wow.
And they cover, or they fill the inside of the boulder with like a colored dust, so that as the rote smashes through, it coats the horns of the rote, and that's how it's really obvious who got there first, because even if the others hit the rock fragments, there's no more powder in there. As you walk in, you pay the cover fee. It's some exorbitantly expensive amount of gold pieces that, like, just to even get in here, you know. You walk through, and it's you know, bleacher style seating kind of stretching away from you, and so you walk into this amphitheater, and you walk in just as they start the next race, and so there's a big whistle, and all the gates don't open. They're just smashed through by all the rote who kind of thunder along the track. You can hear the crowd begin kind of screaming and shouting, and everybody's cheering for their rote. And at the end of it, there's this big and this big burst of like orangish powder that coats the horns of one of the rote, and you see, you know, mixed reactions from the crowd. Whoever bet on that rote leaping up and fists in the air, and as you watch, all of the winners kind of shuffle over to a smaller sort of, it almost looks like a guardhouse sized building off on the side, but this is where the bets are taken, and so there's like a security door, like the big glass paneled door, you know, and you go in there and you can get your money. And they come back out, and then there's a queue forming on the outside where people can place bets. And so you see a lot of richly dressed people. You see a lot of wide-brimmed hats, which is weird because it's underground, so it's not sunny. But it seems like it's just part of the style or the fashion, you know, to be here. There's like all these, they're like really shallow hats that are really wide-brimmed. Is like what's in fashion, I guess. A lot of pinstriped suits. And you walk in, and that is the space. Armis, you with your sharp-eyed spider speaker, you notice Frankie almost immediately, and he is in line about to place a bet on what is going to be the last race of the evening. They're getting ready to wrap up for the night, and you know that, like, Frankie, when it's the last race of the night, if he's on a streak, he's going to bet big, and otherwise he wouldn't be betting. So he must be up there to, like, dump some money.
Mm-hmm. All right, boys. I guess this is it. I could go up to him now, or I could wait till he's sitting down.
Let us get in line at least first. We gotta be around before you guys show up.
Sure.
Davroid and I will kind of start intermixing, but we'll keep an eye out for you. And once there's a chance for, I'll keep an eye out. And once you start moving, I'll move to intercept and kind of make a show of it.
Would it be reasonable for Davroid to already have an outfit that's suitable for this environment?
Yeah, but probably not with him.
Well, could we have stopped on the way when the cut? Or
Back
would
at
I
the
have
cabin?
suspended?
I guess you just have like a house or something.
Yeah,
in
I have a
Dime.
house.
Sure, that's fine. Yeah, so you stopped and like picked
Yeah.
up your fancy race day outfit. I'm gonna let you,
Yes.
Trevor, narrate the scene because you're going to initiate like whatever the beginning of the plan is. Left
Yeah.
to his own devices, Frankie is going to bet a butt ton of money. He's going to take a couple rolls of tickets, and then he's going to go up to one of the highest bleacher seats near the back of the amphitheater and sit down. So you can go ahead and just tell us exactly what happens leading up to when Davroid takes his first move.
Okay. So Davroid in his race day outfit, he also has a brimmed hat, and he told Frode of this ahead of time, so Frode does not preemptively take off his blindfold. And then him and Willard will approach or get in line for the ticket. Was Frankie very, like, did we hear who he bet on?
No.
Okay. Davroid will use his intuition and pick the horse that's favored second or third. He thinks there'll be an upset.
Okay. You pick the second or third ranked rote. Its name is Iron Giant.
Oh, nice.
He's going to get a ticket, and then Davroid is going to take the same path that Frankie did, but be very inconspicuous and make it just seem like he's another person going into that area, not like he's following Frankie.
Okay. Willard's going to split off from Davroid as well, about halfway up, so that way he's closer to wherever the other two will approach, if that makes sense.
Sure.
So Davroid in this bustling rote arena, just navigating, might also grab a snack to, again, just appear natural and normal. So he has like a drink and a snack with him along with his ticket.
Way overpriced popcorn.
Yes. Way overpriced popcorn. Because he's done this before. So he's comfortable. It's not an environment that's new to him. And he's just going to go up to the bleachers where Frankie is, maybe be like 3 or 4 rows behind him.
Okay. Frankie actually has his back to the wall. He went up as high as he could on the bleachers.
Okay. In that case, Davroid will be like on the back wall, but like maybe a few seats over.
Sure.
If there's any open.
Okay. Yeah, so you kind of squeeze in and take a seat just far enough away that like you can't eavesdrop on his conversation, so it's probably not going to be obvious if you're paying attention to him.
He's just gonna kind of like listen to the crowd at the moment and see what everyone's talking about, saying, doing, and just be mindful of everything that's happening around him at the moment.
Okay. You hear a mixture of conversations. A lot of people are talking about which rote they're hoping is going to win. You know, someone's like, Day in the Sunshine is so much better than Iron Giant. I'm sure that he's going to take... There's just this kind of back and forth. You hear one or two conversations of like, oh my gosh, did you see Earl Coldfoot earlier today? The way that he handled that bridge? And then there's just kind of a mix of different things. But you don't hear anything like particularly relevant or incriminating or anything like that. You are too far away to hear the conversation that he's having, but you do notice that somebody comes over and sits next to Frankie, and Frankie immediately puts up his hood while he's sitting there, and you can't tell if they're talking to each other because the hood covers his face from the side. But they're sitting there for a little while, and then that guy stands up and leaves, and Frankie puts the hood back down again.
Okay. I would like to spend 2 intellect points on an ability called Gather Intelligence.
Let's go.
When in a group of people, you can ask around about any topic you choose and come away with useful information. You can ask a specific question, or you can simply obtain general facts. He's probably gonna try and ask around about, like, I guess, not in these words, but like essentially hiring assassins. He's going to ask around about...
It's like he wants to take a hit on someone is like the way he's approaching it? Okay.
But in like the nobility kind of language of the people he is distinguished with.
Yeah. So it takes some colorful language, and so, you know, you have to phrase it just right, because obviously if you're like, I want to kill somebody, you know, people are going to look at you a little weird and whatever. But eventually you do get someone hands you a racing ticket that instead of the name of a rote on it, it has like a Joker card image on it, and they say, give this to Frankie, and they send you over towards Frankie. And so you sit down next to Frankie and hand him the race day ticket, and Frankie looks up at you and he puts on the hood. Placing a bet?
Yeah.
Who you betting on to win?
I pull up my ticket, look down at it, Iron Giant.
When he says, who are you betting on to win, that's asking who your target is.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, no, it was like a coy, like...
Oh, yeah. He just looks at you a little bit?
Yeah. I have some pesky people I need dealt with.
All right, well, what are you willing to bet on him?
Is there a standard price for this?
Depends on the person you want removed.
What's the cost of banana? $20?
I mean, they're not like high up noble, but they are causing a lot of problems for me and my business. And I'd rather them just not be around.
It's going to be pretty expensive.
I've got money.
He names a price that falls within the very expensive category. 4 out of 5.
Is it full up front? Is it half in front, half when it's done?
Oh, you put your bet in before the race starts, buddy.
All right. Davroid does not have that money currently on him. Can I get back to you with that? I don't currently have it on me.
I don't know. Bets are a fluid thing. That price might expire.
I'm okay with that. Davroid will simply get, or I guess, yeah, he'll get up and just pretend like he's going to make a withdrawal, essentially.
So, Armis, what do you think we were supposed to do something?
I don't know.
As Davroid walks away from Frankie, Willard, you're the closest, so you notice that once Davroid has gone a couple steps down, Frankie holds up like a mug that's a little too reflective, like it's been coated in something shiny, and takes a sip from it. And you see two other people spaced out wide enough that you would totally not notice if you didn't have the distance to see, the collaboration. Two people stand up and just quietly follow Davroid. They don't look like they're being threatening. They just look like they're keeping an eye on him.
Interesting. Okay. Willard will take note of that, and then I guess we didn't discuss a signal.
Nope.
But you could spend an XP to use it like an ocean, and then you did.
Willard will spend an XP, and the ocean is that we have discussed a signal, and the signal is Willard will like kind of sit back, take a big yawn, and then like scratch his head. That's like the signal. So he does that. He like sits back.
Okay, you spent an XP. You have all the player agency here. What does that signal mean? Like, what exactly do they understand?
Oh, that they need to start heading towards our target here.
So, Armis, I think Princess Rothe is I think just off the name, that one sounds like it's gonna win. I don't know about you.
I think the Jolly Blue Giant's got it, in my opinion, Frode. Oh, wait, Frode. Willard did the thing. We gotta go. We gotta move.
All right, I'll follow your footsteps.
Yep, just keep my coat over your head.
The two of you enter the crowd and begin moving towards them. Davroid, you get to the money changer. He looks up at you and says, "Hello, sir. Here to make a withdrawal."
That I am.
Absolutely. What's the account number?
5554563.
Impressive that you have it memorized. Most people write it down. And he pulls out a book and flips through it, and you can see that each page, they have like tabs that have the numbers on them, but there's nothing written on the page until he flips to the one for your account, and then he kind of reaches down and you hear a little bit of magic activate and the ledger fills in, so it's like a privacy feature so nobody else can read it. And he takes a look down at your ledger and he goes, that's quite a lot of money you want to withdraw. Are you sure you want this sum to risk on just the last race?
I do.
Okay, well, if you need it, and he hands over the money to you. He also hands over a little pamphlet about gambling addiction. And then he closes up the paper and he says, "There is help for you." And then he closes the paper. He's very professional about it, but it's like clearly there's a policy of like, if someone's too reckless, they just always hand them the little pamphlet.
Yeah.
And he shakes your hand, sends you on your way. And what are you going to do next?
Davroid's heading right back up. Would Davroid have noticed the people following him?
When Davroid turns to leave the money changer, you can notice without tipping them off that there are two people who are like kind of keeping tabs on you. It's like triangle coverage. So wherever you are, they're kind of opposite ends so that you couldn't like run away essentially. But they don't seem to be like making a move to threaten you or anything like that. They're just keeping an eye on you.
Yeah, Davroid wants to look as like these people who are I guess not purchasing this service, and so it's like he sees it as they'll go get money and then go right back. So he's looking as normal and casual as possible, as not to like draw suspicion from these people.
And then you head back up the bleachers. You've still got these two people kind of mirroring you, and then Willard, you can see that based on the distances and such, Armis and Frode are not quite in line of sight of Frankie. But they are close enough now to where, like, if they round the next corner of the stadium, essentially, like, they're going to be visible to him. It's like the betting house is what's blocking his line of sight.
So what Willard's plan is once they round the corner and get, like, close enough to Willard, he's going to step out and intercept them and make a big deal out of it that he... I'll roleplay it when it happens, but, like, that he recognizes them and that they're in big trouble. So
he's recognizing Armis and Frode.
Yes.
Okay. So Davroid, you get back up to Frankie before that happens. Frankie puts the hood back on as you sit down next to him again. He says, "You ready to bet for real?"
Yes. And Davroid pulls out his bag, like kind of conceals it in his lap.
Yep. Frankie subtly opens a small briefcase for you to put the money in.
Davroid is like slow to do that because he's trying to not give him the money and to like wait for the stuff to happen. So he's like being like making sure it's just the right amount. It's like, and then slowly
Mr.
like
Throp.
and then like Davroid like turns.
Okay.
Hey, don't you don't I don't know you, bud. Just let me up the stairs with my friend.
Throp.
Is somebody blocking the way?
There's a little rat down here.
Tumbleweb toll bridge, and you did not pay your fine.
Frankie looks over at Davroid and he goes, "You gotta give me the money now. Race is about to start."
Davroid will begrudgingly drop it in to maintain this.
Names.
Davroid pulls out a piece of paper and writes it down as not to speak it out loud in case anyone's eavesdropping. And he's like very secretive about this.
Great. What do you write down? What name do you write?
Davroid will write down Leroy Mulligan.
Okay. Leroy Mulligan. And Frankie looks at it and he goes, "Second tier?"
No, 4th tier.
All right. And he shuts the briefcase and he stands up and begins walking away from, like, around the bleachers, away from Willard and Armis and Frode, who we'll cut back to here real quick.
You owe a fine for the Tumbleweb toll bridge.
How tall
And
is
toll
it?
bridge is too overpriced. Everyone
It
knows
is.
it's too expensive.
And it's much past overdue, which means your toll is much more than monetary.
The three of you
That's it.
notice Frankie stand up and begin edging his way around the stadium up in the upper rows.
Mr. Thrupp, I think we need to get past this man. How tall is he?
He's very small. I try and like whisper. Willard, I'm really not sure what's happening anymore. I thought we were gonna go and talk to the guy, and then like you guys were gonna save him. Do we just go get the guy? Like what happens now?
I'm not sure. I think Davroid has gone a bit off script.
I'm picking you up, man. Frode picks up Willard.
Can you just throw him at Frankie?
Blindfolded?
Direction.
to me.
Give me a direction.
Can I aim him? Go over there. Just throw him. I'm gonna point him in the direction where Frankie is, and just like. Say,
Willard, I hope you know how to land.
I'm so sorry, Willard. I'm panicking.
And I just chuck Willard. I'll roll a might roll.
This is a might roll with a difficulty of 9. You're throwing Willard up the stadium seat's height and across as this person is leaving. So you have a target roll of 27.
All right. Well, I'm gonna use my iron muscles ability.
Okay.
I've thrown people before, so it's got to be something I'm familiar with, you know.
I want to help. I'll spend any XP to make this happen. Can I like spend? First of all, I want to try and ease it by using my sharp eye and like I do a similar thing
To
with
aim
my
him?
excellent. Yeah, to aim him, to use my excellent training abilities. I'll use intellect or whatever you want me to do.
You know what? I'll use 3 XP for the permanent ability that through our training I've learned to throw people, especially given my background in the wrestling ring. Combined with the fact I made sure to level up to specialized in navigating and fighting blindfolded.
Okay, 3 XP buys you trained in throwing creatures. 3 more XP buys you specialized in throwing creatures. So if you want to go all out here, I'll let you spend the 6 XP.
I'll spend all of my XP. I'll spend it all. That's all my XP is specialized in throwing creatures.
Okay, so that's 2 levels of ease that you've granted. Armis, I don't think there's a way you can... I can't come up with a way you can spend XP to do this. Maybe you can, and then I'm down. But using your ability to help him can ease it by 1 step.
Yeah, if I can spend XP to just say that there's a nice gust of wind that assists in carrying Willard to where we need to go.
In the underground rock thing?
I don't know. That one of the rocks explodes and it makes a big
Why
old
can't
gust.
you shoot your naval
Okay.
web at him?
Okay,
I
you
get
get the 1 immediate benefit. That's 1 XP. You have the
okay.
agency over it. So
Can
we've
Willard
eased it
spend
by-
XP or do something to make it better?
No, Willard's gonna have his own roll to land without dying.
Okay.
All right. So let's just count up what we
to
got.
be
We
clear, this is a far distance. This is 50 to 100 feet. You're trying to throw this creature.
We got one easement from Armis. We got 2 easement for being specialized in throwing creatures. All right, I got another easement for iron muscles since it's a might task.
So Armis also spends an XP, so that's 5 levels of easement.
All right, 5 levels easement. I am specialized between level ups. I did take specialized in navigating and fighting while blindfolded.
This does not count as fighting. You are throwing someone blind.
I'm ready to see a total fail of a roll, and Willard just splats on the ground.
All right, okay.
We went from 9 to 4, so we went from impossible to doable.
All right. Now, also, I'm gonna take a free edge, a free level of effort. It brings it down to 3, and I'm gonna use another level of effort. Bring that down to 2. And I really hope I roll above a 6. Here we go. Blowing on the dice.
Oh.
I got a 10. I rolled above a 2.
Okay.
This is what winning looks like.
Wind rushing through your fur, Willard, as Frode picks you up. Armis
have a
spins
plan.
him. He rears back and flings you easily 100 feet. You're crossing here uphill across the stadium towards a target who is running, so he has to lead them, though he is blind. Armis's sharp eyes really kick in here and target it properly. Willard, you are about to land directly on the back of Frankie. However,
Okay.
I am going to need you to roll a might task versus the damage of being flung this distance.
Okay.
This is going to be a might task because of how well he threw you. He eased it so
Okay.
much. I'm going to start by easing it 4 steps. So instead of level 9, it's level 5. So that's
It
a
is
target roll of
it
15.
becomes level 6 because I am a mole folk and I have an inability in might tasks.
Okay. So target roll of 18.
Okay. Willard is going to spend 2 levels of might effort
Okay.
to bring it down. I would like to spend some XP. You tell me how much this costs, Josh.
We're making this work.
The sheriff's. If Willard thinks back and he remembers the sheriff's department in Tumbleweb, and he remembers how one piece of technology, it's not even technology, it's just efficient digging that he really appreciated about the sheriff's office, is that instead of just crawling through a hole in order to get to the equipment room where you need to gear up, get your knives, get your hat, get your badge before you go out on patrol, you wouldn't just crawl. You would fly. It would be a straight down hole. You would need to you would shoot down, and the hole would allow you to just get down to that room as fast as possible. And in order to do that, though, a part of his training was to learn how to land artfully, to not hurt himself, but just give himself maximum efficiency when about to go and leave the station.
This is a long-term skill that you're looking to add, so it would be 3 XP to become trained in hard landings is what I would write the skill at.
Great.
And then you could spend 3 more if you wanted to specialize in it.
We'll train in hard landings.
Okay.
So difficulty of 3 means he has to roll a 9.
Yes.
Is that correct?
Yep.
Okay. That is what he is going to do.
I believe.
He rolled a natural 1, and I am not joking.
Oh my god! Wait, you have XP? Do you have XP? You can spend an XP to reroll.
I'm going to reroll.
Wind it back.
He's pretty low on his might now, so this has to work. All right, we're giving it another shot. That's a nat 20.
That's a nat 20. Willard, you get back not the first roll, but everything you spent on the second roll, you get back from that nat 20.
Okay.
And with a nat 20, you get a major effect. So just describe for us the way that the collision happens. You know, Frankie is hood up, head down. He's moving in. He's not like sprinting, but he's moving as quickly as one can inconspicuously move through a crowd at the top of the wall. Cement or rock wall to one side of him. The bleachers open to the other side. Everybody's heads in slow motion turning as you fly by towards him. Willard, the adrenaline pumping through your body. You are in full control of your circumstances in this moment.
Willard is going to land basically in a way where he's like gonna tackle what's his name? Frankie? Tackle Frankie over. He's landed on one of his shoulders so that his head is like peeking over around his hood. And when he lands, he's going to just go, "Tell me everything you know about the spider circus." And that's what he's doing. And he's going to spend intellect to use terrifying presence so that he is the scariest thing Frankie has ever seen.
Yes! Yes! Oh my god! My man's just like, I gotta get out of here. There's some weird shit going on. And just gets fucking from downtown smacked in the back by a humanoid being that whispers into his ear. You better tell me where the drugs are going. Swear to me.
Okay, so you tell me everything you know about the spider circus.
Yeah.
And he's still like head shoved into the rock floor, you're like perched on his shoulder or whatever. He's like, the circuit. Who are what? The spiders. Look, man, it's not me, okay? I connect people, okay? Guy comes to me, says he wants the job done. I just find the people who get the job done, okay? Look, easy, man. It's not me. I didn't do nothing in the spider circus, okay?
Willard has a knife to his throat.
Oh my god!
He's doing his best to keep it hidden. It's a little knife. He's got a big trench coat, and he says,
"Okay, whoa! No names. No. We don't use names. Okay, wait. There's no names. There's no names here. I remember what he looked like though. Okay, the buyer, the guy who started the job, the buyer. He came to me. We were at the other rotate racing ring. We were there, and he came to me and he gave me the tag and he told me that he needed to contract a hit on Elaine Mollusk. And he came to me and he said, okay, and what he looked like, he had on a big navy blue cloak, and underneath the cloak I'm pretty sure he was an elf, but he was fairly tall, pointy ears, and he had on like a utility, what do you call those things, with the thing it holds like the knives, bandolier. He had on a bandolier with different like adventuring equipment in it, he had on boots. He had leather boots, and they were muddy, so probably he was traveling. That's probably helpful, right? That he was muddy, even though it's rocky here. That's good, right? And that's what he had on him. And I all I do is I find people who will do jobs, right? So I went to my network and I put out the word that there was a job that needed doing at the spider circus, and all that they asked for was for someone to capitalize on the distraction and kill Elaine Mollusk. And I don't know if it got done. I don't know any of that, but the person I reached out to was a dirtfolk like you. I thought you were him at first, but you weren't him. But a guy like you, like your height, shorter guy, and he told me he had a great cover for getting in, but I didn't ask him what it was because I'm not a details guy. Like I said, I'm just, all I do is connect people. Okay. I'm not even hardly involved. I'm barely even part of it. And that's really everything I know, man. Okay. I don't even know if the job went off without a hitch. All the payments already exchanged. You pay up front with me. Okay. You pay before the race is run.
Was his cover that he was security?
I have no idea. I didn't ask. You're pretty convinced that he's telling the truth on your Nat 20 major effect and your terrifying presence. I'm giving you his full honest, he's with you.
Willard is then going to like give him a little nod and sheath the knife and kind of climb off of him and kind of look up at I assume there's a lot of people watching.
You climb up just in time. There are a bunch of people watching, and even as they're watching, you get to roll a speed defense task as the first of his muscle careens into you, sprinting across the bleachers behind him.
Okay, speed defense task.
Josh.
Yeah?
During this commotion, since Davroid kind of knew that his friends were going to do something, could he?
Classic us.
Could he have dropped the case with the money in it, and Davroid swiped it while he was having this conversation inconspicuously?
For an XP.
I'll spend an XP for that.
Okay. He's dropped the suitcase with the money in it, and you have grabbed the money.
And then Davroid is going to walk out of the arena very casually.
Just leave him.
I need you to roll something to not get basically pursued by Frankie's goons, because they were already tailing you, so they're going to assume you're involved. You'll need to give them the slip. I would think that's probably speed related.
Davroid will quickly grab the case, grab Willard, and then run to his friends, and then he's gonna use the quantum tunneling to give the goons the slip.
Willard rolled a 15 on his speed defense.
Great. So we're going to start with Willard gets attacked by the goon because you're picking up the case first. So the goon goes to attack Willard. This is a level 5. Willard rolled a 15, which means that it's an exact match and players win in a tie. So you successfully defend against this. You dodge out of the way or whatever. The second one is coming up the steps towards you. So one came from where Frankie came from and one's coming up the steps. So he's going to throw something at you. So you're going to make a speed defense roll against his attack as well.
Just a friendly game of catch. Nothing to see here.
He's going to use a level of effort on this speed defense.
Great.
He didn't need to. He got a 17.
17. Excellent. You dodge out of the way as a huge kind of spiked thing appears out of a dart. It's a dart that once he threw it, it activated and turned into this big javelin thing that slammed into the wall past you. And he's going to continue running up the steps to try and get to you. Now, Davroid would take an action, so Davroid can run over and join you. That's an immediate distance, so you can also take another action this round. But if you want to get back to your friends, you'll have to get past these two goons. You won't be able to just run over to them easily.
If Willard is doing his own thing, then Davroid will go in a different direction than Willard, but still make his way towards his friends.
Okay, so you're going to
split 'em
run
up.
unopposed back to your friends, so you can just make it back to them in this turn. Willard, I'm going to need a speed task from you to duck around the goons' feet. There are 2 goons and they're level 5 creatures. I'm going to turn this into 1 check for both of them. That's a difficulty 6.
Okay. Willard is going to spend another level of effort on his speed.
Okay.
Oh, he's getting low on his... This is the first time that I am having to really choose my pools wisely.
It's been an intense 10 seconds.
Yeah.
Yeah, taking on a level 9 task will do that to you.
Yeah, no kidding.
And turning it into a level 2 task.
He's gonna spend 2 levels of effort actually, and the in-game way he's doing this is he is once again gonna channel his ability to make himself aerodynamic and try to essentially quarterback slide underneath the legs of one of these guys, and almost Uncharted style, and then just keep running after that, just not lose any speed, just go for it. So that's
Cool.
what he's doing.
All right.
Oh, that's a 7.
That's a 7. You attempt to juke through the guards, but unfortunately one of them is going to grapple you and pin you to the ground. And he's going to use his turn to just raise up a huge meaty fist and boom, just thud it into you. Because you are restrained, you're not going to be able to use speed to try and dodge this attack. So you're going to use might instead to try and absorb the hit. Again, he's a level 5 goon, so it's a difficulty 5 task. Target roll of 15.
I get the feeling that sacrificing the might pool for this at this point would have a similar effect to just taking the hit. So I'm just going to take the chance on straight rolling it. That's a 4.
Okay, Willard is going to basically
At
gets
least it's
slammed into the stone by this goon. You take 5 points of damage to your might pool.
Ouch.
Okay, his might pool is empty. What does that mean?
You have moved
Impaired.
1 step down the track towards death. You are now an impaired creature. With that, he is going to... So he's just holding you pinned to the ground. The other goon is going to come over to where you are and try and restrain you. Like, try and basically tie up your feet or your hands.
Willard will spend an XP just to like get like just before the next person grabs him, just to kind of like wriggle his way just a little bit out of the way, and he's going to the look on his face is not very happy. He's like, I hate this, I hate this, I hate this. And he like kind of like clasps his little paws like this and like links his claws together. And you see like green energy forming around his chest. And he's just like, ugh. And it's a cipher of recovery. He recovers 6 pool points into his might pool.
Excellent.
You just see that green energy go into his fur, and he just looks a little bit more rejuvenated. Not like a ton, but a little bit more.
The second goon is still going to take his attack against you, but you do have 6 points in your pool now, and he can only deal a maximum of 5. So you know you're not impaired at the end of the round.
Yeah.
But he is going to roll to attack you, so you're going to roll a might defense.
All right.
Actually, he's not going to attack you. He's still trying to tie you up. So
Well, it helps. If it helps, he got a 15 on this defense roll.
Okay, it's still going to be a defense roll. So basically, you're still wriggling and like fighting back enough that you're not tied up. So your speed does not drop to 0.
Okay.
But you're still restrained currently. Like you'll have to escape the guy who's pinning you down.
Mm-hmm.
That's going to bring us to Armis and Frode's turn.
Frode.
What's happening?
And I guess
Did it
Davroid
work?
is there, but he's had his turn already.
Yeah.
It worked, but it's going a little bit messy right now. We need to get over there and try and get our buddies
Do I
out of
need to
here.
throw somebody else?
Armis, just shoot your webs at them. That'll give Willard.
I'm not able to
time.
shoot. I can't
All right.
shoot.
We'll move up together, get a little closer. You just tell me which way to go, and then I'll throw you, so it won't be as far.
Is there any chance that I could mutate again and have shooting webs now?
For 3 XP.
Yeah, I want them. In the stress of the situation, I want them really bad.
Are you shooting webs out of your belly button the way Iron Man does that like mega charge shot thing out of his chest? Or like
it's still. It's oh god, I kind of want to change it out of the belly button, but it's already where the
you can change it.
But the orifice is developed. That maybe belly button is stronger, sticky.
If you want web to come out of his hands, you can just have it. You're spending 3 XP. You have the agency.
I want it to come out of his hands.
Okay, great. Web comes out of his hands now when he shoots it.
I know I don't have to, but the consolation or the drop, I have like little buttholes on my hands. So it's like good, but it's still
Why
just
they
like
gotta be
little
buttholes? Why can't they just be holes?
It's a sphincter. It's an orifice. So I say, I'm gonna go. Jesus Louise.
Friendly neighborhood web sphincter just does not have the same role. the same ring to it as web slinger.
I want to put a thing of web on Frode. I'm gonna touch his chest and like have it pull out like it's gonna be a maintaining thread. I want to start running over to where they are, try and shoot a thread, maybe at Davroid so that he can either at his chest so he can grab it, and just try and use this so that one, I can have the thread that will guide Frode to where he needs to go, and the other to hopefully just pull myself a little extra farther or ease getting over there. Or maybe I shoot a wall near the wall that they're at and just try and use that to give me extra leverage to get there faster. Just make it easier to get over.
So now it's a difficulty 3 speed task. Target roll
All right.
9.
Yeah.
What is this stuff on my chest?
Frode, just follow that thread. We should be fine. There might be a few steps, so just be careful. There might be a few bleachers or something.
The thought thread of throwing?
Just enough throwing. I do an 18.
Okay. Yeah, you successfully make it over there this turn. So next turn you'll be able to act as part of the pack here. Frode, what are you doing?
I guess I'll start moving over there.
Just following the thread?
I'll follow the thread. Do I bump into any inanimate objects like a chair? Somebody put out a little folding chair, perhaps. They don't like the bench bleachers, stone bleachers. They have like their own little folding
you tell
chair.
me. Yeah.
And I'll pick that up and I'll guesstimate based off the string and the direction. I'll just chuck it.
Son of a bitch.
Make a difficulty 9.
Thunk, Frode, thunk.
And
Thunk.
if you fail, but if you roll a 3 or lower on this roll, you're gonna hit one of your teammates, and we're gonna roll to see which of them you hit.
Thunk. So I'm gonna stop mid throwing.
Just don't throw. Just get over here, please.
Sorry about this, and I put the chair back.
You head over there.
I keep heading over there.
That brings us to the top of initiative, whereby Willard and Davroid are able to act. Let's check in with Davroid maybe first, because he's the furthest away now.
Davroid is just going to take the same way that he took to get there, to get back, since people aren't really focused on him. So he's just going to like walk around.
That'll be the whole round, and you won't get to take any other actions on the other side. And what about Willard? Willard, you're pinned to the ground by one goon, and the other goon is trying to tie you, but like tie your feet together basically, but you're kind of squirming, so he can't get you.
Okay.
Should have pulled that guy off.
Willard is going to. I mean, his goal is to kind of scramble away. Willard is going to try to use speed to move, like instead of like forcing his way out, he's gonna try to like kind of wriggle and like it kind of go as fast as he can to kind of get out
Like
of the hands of the
out?
guy. Yeah, exactly.
Great.
And almost like he's like slithering through the dirt as he's tunneling.
Perfect.
And he is going to use 1 level of effort to do that.
Great. So it was difficulty 5. It's now down to difficulty 4.
Okay.
Target roll of 12.
All right. That's a 14.
That's a 14. He succeeds. You were able to kind of wriggle free for the round.
If it helps, he's putting out a paw to the rest of his friends, like, get over it, please. Get to me.
I'm sorry. I should have pulled that guy off. It's my problem. It's my fault.
And then it's going to be the Goonses' turn. So you kind of like skitter out of the one guy's hand, and they're going to see some people attacking them. So one goon's going to attack you, and the other goon is going to kind of ready himself up to fight Armis Thrup. So the first goon's going to attack you. That'll be a defense roll with a target of difficulty of 5, target roll of 15. And you can justify the skill you're using because you're not restrained. So it could be might, or it could be speed.
He's going to use speed.
Okay.
That's a nat 20.
Nat 20. You not only are not damaged by this, but you get a major effect. What's your major effect?
Can his major effect be that he's able to spread the gap between him and them? Like he dodges out of the way, but not only that, he's able to take a few extra steps.
Absolutely.
Maybe
you
the
can move a
crowd
short
fills
distance
in.
away.
Okay. Does a short distance get him to Armis?
10 to 30 feet? Sure. Yeah, a short distance
right.
could get you to Armis.
It looks like you have a plan. Let's leave.
Okay, so you fall back towards Armis. The other
Guys,
goon,
over
seeing
here.
you running back to regroup with him, is going to crouch down and just rip one of the stone chairs off of the bleachers and throw it after you. So that's going to be Willard and Armis both need to make defense rolls of 5.
I do have an XP. I would like to use my Cipher of Telekinesis to stop this heavy flying object.
Nice.
Heck yes! What level is that cipher? Can it do a level 4 object? That's what level the boulder thing is, the stone chair.
Yes, Telekinesis, move a level 4 object up to a long distance away.
Excellent. You can fling it right back at him.
Yeah, I want to do that.
Amazing. You activate this cipher, and the chair, like flying towards Armis and Willard, their eyes kind of getting wide as they turn back, all anime style. The chair stops like an inch from Armis's nose, and then just like whoosh, flies back the other direction and slams into one of the goons.
Guys, get over here now.
It's gonna just knock him prone. He falls over. The two of them are trying to get up and work their way to, back to you, but you easily have the distance that if you turn and run now, you're just gonna outrun them.
Get to Davroid. He says we need to get to him. Let's go, Davroid. That was the most insane thing I've seen. I love you so much.
What happened?
Get ready
What did
for
I
something
miss?
even crazier.
Where do I need to go? Davroid, say something.
As you're on your way out, Willard, I'm gonna hit you with a GM intrusion,
Okay.
which you can refuse if you want to spend the XP on it.
I have only 1 XP left.
The intrusion is that what you don't notice as you're leaving is that the goon who pinned you to the ground planted an artifact on you as you're on your way out. You don't know what it does, and you haven't noticed it's there. You'll notice when you next get to like a safe point and you're sitting still, kind of a thing.
I have 1 XP left in the tank, and I'm going to use it to refuse.
Okay, that does not happen. The goon over on the side looks down at his hand and looks almost surprised that he like screwed something up. Like, what? How did I? What is this thing doing here? And you all disappear into the distance. And on that note, tonight's adventure at
Holy
the Wingdagger
cow.
Tavern comes to a close as you race back. I'm assuming to like your cabin. Like, are you going back to Jasper at this point, or what's the
I think
what's the
so.
play here?
That's what I would
let's
think.
get back to the
Great.
back to the cabin.
Be
So
like, sorry, I just imagine as Frode's running to Willard before this happens. He's just everybody bumps into him. He's like, oh, sorry, excuse me, sorry, oh, excuse me.
Bruising wealthy old ladies and shit.
Yeah.
let's talk about XP progression. The first thing